Monica, we're so thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for asking.
How was your day?
It was fine. It was a slow day, believe it or not, because it's Thursday.
Is there a particular day where it gets a lot more hectic because it's
Monday and
after the
Tuesday.
weekend?
Yeah. And then
Okay.
and it's really a slower day because you get the summer hours and the summer behavior. And so, Fridays are a little just kind of administrative, just, doing a lot of stuff unless you have an event. And when you have an event, it accelerates your day. But if you don't have an event and it's just normal day to day, PR stuff, it can be very busy.
Yeah, I've read how busy life can be in PR, so I don't envy that because I like my downtime, and I hear that you in PR it can be chaotic at a moment's notice.
Yes, yes, and then again, you can definitely have downtime. We definitely have downtime, and we love that.
Okay, Monica, let's take it all the way back. Was PR always a dream career for you, or did you have passion for something else?
It was not a dream. My whole life, since as long as I can remember, I wanted to be an attorney. So everything that I did, was to be an attorney. I started in high school. I was taking legal secretary classes, and I went to City College, and I have received a paralegal degree as an associate degree. And everything was geared toward me becoming an attorney. And then when I graduated from City College, I literally started working in law firms. And that's when it hit you, dream, 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 passion, 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 which I still have at this point. I love the law. But once working there, I realized, I said, you know what? I'm by myself really 85% of the time. And that's not something I wanted to do. So what I did was, one of my very best friends, who is still a friend to this day, he said that, we have some openings at Capitol Records. So I don't want to work for a record label. That had never been a dream, never, ever, ever. And then she had been talking to me for almost like 2 years. Monica, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I woke up one morning and I go, you know what? Let me call her and see what they have. And within 2 weeks, I was done with the law, and I was working at Capitol Records. I took a pay cut. It was a different lifestyle. However, I was still living at home, so I was able to make those type of changes. Had I been on my own at that point, I don't think I would have made it so quickly. But the fact that, when you're living at home, your finances are basically nothing because the major things are being paid by your parents, which they were. So I took the chance and, snowballed to where I am now.
Very interesting. I do know, like, one of my cousins, he actually went to law school and he works for an entertainment company in Los Angeles, actually. So the fact that he was able to pivot that into a
Oh
long-standing
yeah.
career, I think that's very cool that that's like a way to pivot into the world of entertainment.
Well, yes, it's called business affairs. And whenever
Okay.
you hear business affairs, that is the legal department, that is the legal of record labels and any type of business. You hear business, that's automatic, that's the code word for law. And what's really funny is that when I did start working at Capitol Records, I was in the business affairs. So I couldn't get away from it. I was in A&R, but it was A&R administration, which is the business outlet for business affairs and legal and bill paying and everything administrative law has to be in business affairs.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really funny. Go figure. And I was
That
there
is
for about
funny.
2 years. I know, right? Like I tried to get him in, and they pulled me back in.
You just couldn't, they're like, no, we're not letting you out of this. You're really good at this.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Exactly.
So I have a question. It's, do you remember your very first aha moment? As in, like, I'm really good at this. I'm really good at PR.
When I signed my first client, I didn't automatically go to PR. When I started in music, I was in, like I said, business affairs.
Mhm.
And then that gave me an offshoot, and I moved to Capitol Records, and I moved to Giant Records, SBK Records, and then when I landed at Rogers and Cowan, that's when I was an administrative assistant, and I got the job because I knew music, and I had administrative skills, so that was the marriage right there. And then I started progressing into being a publicist. And at that point, when you're at an independent firm, it's called an account executive. So I did that, and when I was able to sign my first client, and I can tell you who it was Karen Alexander, who was a model. I went in there obviously with my boss. I went in there and she said, okay, Monica, you do all the talking. I'm like, what? No. But it's all that time of being in meetings and just learning from them. And then when I took the meeting, she liked me. And we got the call like maybe a couple of days later that we got the account. And I think probably had to do with we had the same last name. And I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line, me and Karen are somewhere related. Because Alexander is not a common name, especially for African Americans. So okay. I'm pretty sure we related.
That's super cool.
So that's when I knew. Just talking about PR and what we can do for you, that's when I realized I'm like, oh, okay. And I love to talk. So this being in this job is kind of easy for me. Not really easy, but it's not that, oh my goodness, I'm shaking. Once I got it, I go in there and I, everything I do, I try to land it.
I love that mentality. Want to land it. I love it.
Yeah.
What was your first gig you ever worked that made you call your friends and say, you won't believe who I just met?
Oh, wow. I was thinking about that. I think it had to be when I was at Rogers and Cowan. No, when I was at the record label, I met like endless music acts. It was just a plethora. But I think the one that even to this day is still like I tell the stories when I met Denzel. Oh, but excuse me, Denzel Washington. I was like on the phone, like I was in the line. I was like, and you're whispering.
I would be so speechless if I got to meet Denzel Washington.
Oh my gosh,
I was. And what's really funny is I was at Rogers and Cowan, and I've met from that point. I've met endless amount of people. But one of my chairmen of the company, he handled Mr. Washington. So I would always kid around. And I'd walk to his office. Listen, when Denzel comes here, you need to call me. I'm kidding. You mess with your friends and everything. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he said, Monica, Denzel's coming in today. I'm like, yeah, okay, because he would always kid me about it. I'm like, yeah, all right. So this time I'm like, okay. So he came in. I said, well, wait a minute. So I had lipstick on all day, because usually you're in downtime. And then he called me in and said, Monica, and I literally thought he was kidding. And sitting in his office was Denzel. I was like, hi, but he's one. People are not lying. He is one of the people in this business, and so it was a pleasure meeting him.
That's wonderful. Oh my God. Yeah. I think I would trip over and fall on my face if I met Denzel Washington.
Yeah. Oh, and then one other. When I met Mary J. Blige, I was like, oh my.
Oh, yeah.
And she was a little standoffish, and then I found out she's very, very shy.
I heard that she's shy.
She's very, very shy. So so I thought like she didn't like me, and then they said she's very standoffish. And then because I was at her record label when I was at MCA, we started working together and she started seeing me, and then she felt more comfortable around me, so she started talking. But yeah, I didn't get that vibe that she was not friendly. I just got, there's a vibe between not friendly and then there's a vibe of like people are shy, and she's shy.
Is that something you help with your clients?
Oh, most definitely. Definitely. You have to. You have PR training. You have to have PR training, especially for those who have not been in PR and they need to learn how to speak to the media. And that is, you have media training all the time. And it doesn't matter how old you are. If you have not dealt with the media, you need training. So whether you're a newbie coming into the business, or maybe you're, I call people veterans in the game of life, you need to learn how to speak to the media, because they take everything what you say at face value, because that's what you said. And I always have to remember, people don't know you, so they don't know your sense of humor. They don't know that you're being serious. So you have to have some sort. You have to have a personality. And when you don't have a personality, people have not reflected whether or not you're kidding, unless you tell them like I'm just joking. But some people haven't married that. So
I relate to that a lot, just in everyday life.
Yeah.
Meeting new people.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I've always been curious about media training. So you answered the fact that whether you're literally coming into the industry or you have been here for a very long time, you constantly go through media training. Does it get heavier around a time of an album release or a movie release or a book, maybe a book coming out? Like, do those scenarios of role playing and media setting come more into play then?
Everything you just said, every example you just gave, that's when you need media training. So you really need it before you publicize your service, and your service is your album, your service is your book, your service is your film, because people want to talk to you and you want them to talk to them. You know, you want the media to talk to your person so you can publicize the book, the luxury shoes, whatever you are promoting, you want people to talk to you about it. So you have to go with media training, and you have to remember that you're going to be asked the same question. So you have to be ready to answer the same question. Sometimes you do it in a different way, but you can't get annoyed, because sometimes you can do like 15, 16, interviews in one day. And trust me, they're going to ask the same version of it, same thing. And you have to be ready for it. And you can't look annoyed, because they write that. There's a thing that, print people write it, and in broadcasting, which is TV, they show it. So you have to remember all of that.
Wow.
Does that kind of get a little bit overwhelming for some of the clients, that they just tell you, they're like, look, I can't answer another question about myself, my personal life, or I'm going to lose it on somebody?
Oh, no, they do. But in this sense, and I don't want to sound flippant, but that does not matter.
Okay.
Because you always have discussions with your client before anything. What I like to do, and every publicist works differently. What I usually do, I do an agenda. I do an agenda and I do an itinerary of what's going on and who we're talking to. And I always tell them, I say, listen, this is the media this is the radio people you're talking to. These are the print people you're talking to. And these are the TV people you're talking to, because you talk to them in stages. You really don't talk to them all together unless you're in an award show. But when you're scheduling a press day, you do all print. You do all radio, because it's easier for you as a publicist to keep it together. And so usually I have all print people together. Then I have all radio. And so I always tell them, hey, listen, these are the people that's in the print room. These are the people we have to impress. And this person, you have to watch this person, because a lot of times they want to get you to say something. So you have to be ready for the answer. And you always have to ready, like you said, to pivot and turn it back around. Because I would say if there's a question you don't want to answer, and it has nothing to do with what you're publicizing, you give short answers, and then you turn it around to, this is one of the reasons I like my album. This is one of the reasons why I, decided to, make these shoes, or whatever it is. Turn it around. Turn it around. It's a comma, not a period. That's what I always tell people. Comma, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Very cool.
That is
I feel like I'm learning so much.
I know, so am I. I'm like, I can use this in everyday life too.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's very, very cool. Oh, thank you for letting us talk about that for a minute. Okay, so I wanted you to, maybe if you can give our listeners a story of when a PR campaign just didn't work out, like without naming any specific situations or names, but like when it just didn't work for anybody from the star down to production. Okay,
matter of fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with one that everybody knows it didn't work, and I can tell you why.
Okay.
And do you guys remember that Jenner when she did the, I think it was a Pepsi commercial? Let me tell you, it was Pepsi. And let me tell you why it didn't work.
Okay.
Because she has nothing to do with protest. It's like, it was almost an insult to people's intelligence. Because this is a woman who nobody really knows other than the fact that she's a Kardashian. And then you're doing a protest commercial. It was tone deaf messaging. It was a lack of like cultural awareness. And it was just poorly executed. And the public backlash was awful. And that's one of the reasons why it was cut like immediately. So the moral of the story is that you always have to remember your audience, and remember who you're talking to, and remember who you're getting to be your spokesperson, your person who's endorsing you. So that was one of many that I thought about. Okay. And it did make sense, because first of all, the Kardashians are on that children of, we're tired of you anyway. Because, I feel like what Barbara Walters says, what talent do you have? And so you can't get upset about that, because you guys were thrust upon us, and we all know how that happened. So you have no talent, and everything you have is because you're on TV. And then on a personal note, it was me when I was working with, it was an up-and-coming rapper. And one of the things I did as a favor to someone else. Okay. So I said, I'll take it. And I even cut my price. Just because on the strength of, of my other publicist who was not only a friend, but they were another publicist. And it was the fact that your budget was so low, this is what I'm doing for your budget. And I think they wanted all of this grandioso. But I said, first of all, no one knows who you are. So that's not going to happen. You're not going to get on Jay Leno tomorrow. And you would be surprised at how many people want to go on late night television and they have absolutely no song. So, and that's when I was handling music artists at that time.
Mhm.
And so I hate to have those conversations, but you have to have those conversations and really have to have those real conversations and say, this is the situation and everything is stair step. We're on the first step right now because I don't like to tell clients, no, I just like to tell them we're working on it, but this is what we have to do to get there. And then they understand that. And so that's what I had to do, that person. I literally had to say, we're on step one at this point, so we need people to know who you are. So that's why we need to do print interviews so people don't know who you are, and radio, print and radio. Television is the last thing because you have talent bookers who are going to go, who's this person and why? So I have to tell them who's this person and why by showing them the press kit that they've done this interview, they've done this print, and I have to give them meat and potatoes before they say yes. And so with that artist, that's what I have to do. And it wasn't really a loss, but it was difficult because they did not want to listen, and it was hard. So when 6 months was up, I was not happy.
When clients don't listen, is that frustrating to you?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely.
What if they don't listen? Like what are the repercussions in a sense? Is it their career?
You have the conversation. Yeah, you have that conversation that maybe this is not going to work. Maybe you and I working together, maybe you need another publicist that understands or who will do your needs. So basically you do fire clients. It doesn't really happen often, but there are times where you have to fight because this is not working. What I'm saying is not working. So maybe my delivery is off, but whatever it is, our connection is not working.
Okay.
So you basically, and trust me, it's a stressful situation, and it becomes a headache that people don't listen. It's very, very frustrating.
Okay.
I can only imagine how hard it would be to like wake up every day knowing, oh my gosh, I have to get through the day of media with this client who doesn't hear what I'm telling them. And you're the professional. You know what the media is looking for, and your client's not delivering. I can't imagine.
I've had clients, I've had clients leave me because of that. But I never end on a sad note. I always give a note, even though I have been let go. I always give a note like saying it was a pleasure working with you, blah blah blah. And I do the ending note because we're not going to end on that note. We're going to end on this note. So you always have to control the narrative, and I'm controlling my narrative. And my narrative is that you're not going to say this, and this without me saying that. So that's what you always a publicist. We control the narrative, even our own.
That's
very
powerful.
Cool. This did trigger a question for me. Have you had other publicists call you, reach out to you, and ask about a former client that they're looking at taking? They're working on a contract with. Do you give your honest opinion, or you just kind of let them? This is my struggle with them.
No, okay. Depending on what they ask.
Okay.
You know what? It's almost like when you leave a job and your new job calls your old job. Mm-hmm. You never want to stop people from working or getting what they need. So I always say, this is how we work together, and this is what happened. I don't tell them what happened, but I just say your experience may be different than mine. However, what I will always tell another publicist, this client doesn't pay. I mean, I'm not going to have another publicist because we're competitive. We're all in the same game, and I'm not going to have another publicist deal with a non-payer. So that's one of the things as publicists, we are one. I don't care if I don't like this publicist or she's not my favorite or I'm not going to allow them. I'm not going to let them have a client that does not pay, because that means they're going to work.
I think it's very admirable. That's very admirable. Great.
But like, not all publicists are like me. So, like I said, I've been in the game a little bit longer than most. So I'm a veteran, and I'm basically old school. So.
Well, I like that about you. I think that's very admirable to, pass on that information.
Yeah.
PR isn't always glamorous. Has there ever been a disaster behind the scenes that somehow you had to spin into gold?
Oh, most definitely. It happened when I was working with a recording artist, and they were on stage, and they had a wardrobe malfunction from the lower extremities, male, and that was crazy because when you're on stage, you're usually backstage and you're on the side, so you don't see the front, you don't see what people are saying. And so anyway, I got all this backlash, like, Monica, this happened. Did you see it? I said, no, I didn't see it. So anyway, we literally had to get my artists off of the premises, or they were going to go. They were not going to be happy about that. So it was on the news. It was not happy. But fortunately, we were able to spin it that that parents were mad, and it was like not their finest hour. However, it wasn't their fault. So we had to spin it, like they didn't know what was going on. And I forgot how I spent it, but I know we spent it that the clients did not really get arrested, for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it went away real quick. And I always say, you tell it first, you tell it all, and you tell it last, and you keep the same statement. Don't be doing many statements, because if you do many statements, they're going to ask about that statement. So if you say one thing, you stick with the statement. Don't elaborate. Don't do anything. You stick that. And if it's a legal matter, as a publicist, my jargon is my motto is, you're going to have to talk with their legal, their attorney on that matter, because I don't answer legal questions. And boom. And then they stop asking me. So that means you go to the attorney, which they don't want to do.
No, they don't want to do that.
No, they don't want to talk to you. They rather talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, I'm not going to be sitting up here in court saying what I said to my client. I mean, it's not privileged information, but that's how I did. That's how I deal with it. And recently, I haven't had too many issues like that. I've been like a publicist. I haven't had to do too much that's what you call crisis management PR, but I'm always ready to have or to know how to react to crisis management.
That says a lot about your career as well.
Absolutely,
having
yes.
had to do with that with a lot.
Yeah.
That you're an ultimate.
Yeah, which is And I've had people reach out like, "Can you handle my client because they've done this?" And well, first of all, what did they do? I mean, like honestly, I need to. I'm like an attorney. At that point, my attorney hat is put on, which I have no problem putting it on. Mm-hmm. I put it on. I go, and I ask you point blank, not if you did it, because I don't want to go out there and lie. So I just want to go out there and say what happened. No. And I tell them, don't tell me that much, because I don't want to be asked, like, what about? Because trust me, the police will ask. They will ask me, well, did you know? And I'll go, and I did not know. Honestly, I know.
Yeah.
Because we all know if you lie to the police or you lie to a federal agent, clink. So yeah. I always like to preserve my sanity, and, what happens to me, I always tell them that I need to know what happened up to this point. And unfortunately, it's been working.
Good. Yeah, and you can't, people have to understand, you can't help a wardrobe malfunction when it occurs.
Look at Janet Jackson. That was awful for her and him. And I think how CBS handled it was disastrous for them.
Oh, agreed. Completely.
And then it came out later on, Janet was right. So, and then look what happened to Mr. Moonves.
Mm-hmm.
He literally tried to, and then it comes out that he tried to destroy her career, and up to a point he did. And it was the aftermath of that was not even good, because I was working with the Grammy Awards, and she was up for Grammys and her performing, and they wanted her to apologize before. It was just a not pretty thing, but Janet is resilient, and she did a good job.
Absolutely agree. Mm-hmm. All right. What is one lesson from your early years of your career at MCA, Rogers & Cowan, or Capitol that still guides you to this day?
You know what? It's building relationships with people. And I always tell people, never underestimate the value of credibility. And then you have to know that I know that PR has opened doors for me. And then it's how you show up. You have to remember, you just have to be nice to people.
Thank you.
You have to be nice to people, because journalists, producers, talent executives, and now we have influencers that, they're flooded with pitches every single day. So you have to be sincere, because they spot insincerity in a moment, and you just have to take your time. You have to respect their time, and your reputation in this business is your currency. So you have to protect it, you have to nurture it, and you just have to, lead with integrity in every situation, in every interaction, because people know fake and phony. And I try not to do that at all. And I generally go in 100 with people until we have to, until something happens. So I start 100 with you. But if you don't start 100 with me, I feed off of your vibe. I genuinely don't have a problem with people until you have a problem with me. You know how they say, until you have a problem with me.
That's such a good lesson just in life as well. A lot that you're saying resonates with me just in life in the world we live in today.
Exactly.
I can tell that you have learned a lot of life lessons. Is that something when you spread that to the younger generation, you have those opportunities? Is that something that you are proud of? Because I'm just getting a lot from this interview as myself. Like, your quotes are very inspirational. And
I do. And what's really hard, and, to tap into social media for a hot second, you have a lot of new publicists who really are new to this business, and they have no idea what older publicists did. I mean, you have the internet and everything is so simple. There was a time when we didn't have computers. You know what I mean? We were like literally typing and mailing. There was no like, hold on, let me send this as an attachment.
We were calling people. We were calling people.
Yeah, we were calling, and we had a Rolodex. Remember the Rolodex? So we were cold acting, and everything is so easy for them. I think they lose sight of what PR is about. It's about public, dealing with the public.
Yes. So
I call, there are publicists who don't call people they don't know. I have no idea of that concept. I go, I go, what? I'm that's speechless.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if your client has a tour in Hawaii and you don't know anybody? That means you need to get on the phone and call Good Day Hawaii or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And if the young people it's just too easy. I call it microwave PR, and I'm not about that. I'm old school. I call people. I send out press releases. I write. You believe how many publicists who do not write? I don't know what that means. That's why back in the day, a lot of publicists were former journalists because they write. That's how journalists come. Yeah.
That's
Matter of fact, there was not
itself.
Yeah. Oh, writing is just and you have to have you really draw a blank, so you really have to write and step away from it and get more ideas. So, like I said, it's a different thing. Social media has changed the game for the better. And for somebody like me who understands what it was before, this is like, ooh, this is nice. And I didn't take it easy. I didn't like, oh no, social media, da da da. But then once you realize how to use it to your advantage, you're like, this is like, what was I thinking? It's
a great tool. It's a great tool, but it's also social media is such a catch-22 situation that I'm a millennial. I grew up on the cusp of like, I was in high school when Facebook debuted. And at that time it was like only the college students had it, and then we finally got it. So I'm right there with it when it started. And I love it, but I also have a love-hate relationship with it. Now that I've gotten older, it doesn't bother me as much.
You have to use it. Mm-hmm.
Because I know how to use it, and I know what I don't care if I don't get the likes that like 150 likes on a post. That doesn't bother me now.
No, it does. I'm going to go back a little further because I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit, not that much older, but I remember MySpace.
Yes, I had
MySpace too. That's how old I got into it. And MySpace literally was the beginning, basically, of like Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram was like pictures. It was pictures. It was.
I miss it when it was just that. I miss it when it was just.
It was just no videos, no Instagram lives, none of that. And that's what Instagram was. It was Facebook with pictures. That's what I called it. Facebook with pictures.
Mm-hmm. And now it's there's Threads, there's Facebook, there's TikTok, there's YouTube. It's like you don't know where to go.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's WhatsApp, there's Snapchat. And I'm on everything except for Snapchat. I had Snapchat, but at some point it just got overwhelming. Yeah. I said, no, I'm on these mediums. I'm good.
Yeah. I remember in the beginning when companies were starting to get their foot out the door with social media, it was like they had the Instagram icon, the Facebook icon, the Twitter icon, the YouTube icon, and then a Snapchat one came, and I'm like, oh my gosh, companies are using Snapchat now. What is happening?
And you know what? It was really funny about Snapchat. It went away, and then it came back. What is Snapchat? What is it? Why? You have WhatsApp. What's that? And then, now it's, I know the phone company must be going crazy because you don't need to call anybody. I just get on Facebook and hit phone and I call my friends and we don't even have to look at each other. We can talk audio.
I'll never forget when Facebook introduced that, and I'm like, isn't that basically Skype? They ran Skype out of business because now you can connect with people across the world.
Yeah, and anybody who is making long distance calls, I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. I'm mad. I would tell them just to get Facebook so you can make your long distance call. That's what I would tell them. Like, those are older people. Like, no, get a Facebook and just go to Facebook. And trust me, everybody has a Facebook app on their phone. They don't know it.
Yes.
And if they didn't, I would tell them, I was like, listen, Grandma, I call my Big Mom, listen, Big Mom, put this app on your phone and you can hear me and you can talk all day, every day.
There we go. I love it.
Yeah.
So I did want to touch base on how has influencers changed the game of PR, if they have? Has it been harder to navigate that world? Because it just seems so much different than entertainment, music, all of it.
Well, just like we touched upon it earlier, is that it makes it easier because it's easier to reach your client and reach your artist, and because every artist has their own. That's what the blue chip is for. And they're engaged with their clients. So now you have a lot of writers and people who want to reach people. They just go on there. They just go, they usurp us and they'll go talk to them directly. But then clients are smart enough to bring it back and go work it out with my publicist, talk to my manager. And that's what many of them are saying. And that helps. And I'm like, thank you. And you tell your client because they say yes to everything. And I'm the no person, which I have no problem being. Listen, we can't do this because, and that's how I say it to my clients. We can't do this before, I'll give you an example. Back in the day, I'm sure you guys remember the war between Jay Leno and Letterman.
Yes,
and
I do.
So the client, the client would go, well, I want to do Letterman. I go, well, we can't do that. We have to see exactly what Jay has to offer because usually Jay was a little bit more easier when it comes to doing things than Letterman. And Letterman only liked a certain amount of music, and that's what my thing was, music. But Jay was open to all music, and Letterman wasn't open to all music. And so that's why I said, just out of respect, let's do Jay first. And so you have the late night TV, and you have daytime TV. So that's when it was Regis and Kathy Lee, then it was Regis and Kelly, and then you have The View, you have The Talk. And you have all those shows. Which one do you do first? And you always do the one. Sometimes you have the better relationship, and a lot of times it's the numbers. And so when you break it down that they get better numbers, then they understand. They don't like it, but they understand it.
Got it.
Is that exhausting to have to break that down to your clients?
No, not really. It's part of the course. And then and many of them, I can't think of one client who didn't understand that. Because some of them come in there with this idea about what PR is, but when you really tell them what's going on and how it's done, many of them do understand it. Because I always put it in this way: you want your career to last, and you want it to last long, and make it timeless. Like music, you make it timeless so you can go into every decade, just growth. And so that's one of the things I always teach them, and many of them listen to you. And then when you have veteran clients who understand the business, you're listening to them. Like, okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. I can tell you one of my favorite of all clients was Lionel Richie. He knew this business backwards and forwards. And so we would have long talks about, what he's going to do and why he's going to do it. And then he would tell me, he said, listen, we're going to do this. And I would go, oh, okay. And I learned from that. I learned from him how to handle other clients. And so because he's been in this business, and, he's older than me, obviously, but he's been in this business like forever. So he can teach you. He taught me exactly what we want to do and what we should do and why we're doing it. So I totally listened to him, and he listened to me, and he showed me respect in listening to what I'm going to do because he didn't want to think. He just wants, like, Monica, what are we doing? And then why? Because there's certain press people like, Monica, why are we talking to this person? I said, we need to talk to this person because we got to talk to that person. So there's people that you have to talk to before you talk to this person. He goes, oh, okay.
The communication between you two sounds really open.
It has to be. You have to be open to, and you have to be available when your client needs you. And I'm usually 24/7. I always tell them, if I don't return your call, means that I didn't get it. Because half the time, half the time I don't get it, especially with texts and emails. Sometimes you don't see it. So if I don't call you back within 24 hours, call me. That means that either I didn't get it or I got so busy I forgot. And I respect people calling me and like, oh, I'm sorry about that. I was going to call you, but da 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 da. But people respect that, and so I always tell clients, I'll call you back, da da da. And I really don't like saying I'll call you back. I like to talk to them when they call me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This did trigger another question that I had, and okay. So with the world of social media, we obviously have it feels like direct access to our favorite celebrity. Do you feel like that has also kind of made, your job as PR, as a publicist, a lot harder, because you don't know normally fans aren't going to they're going to be a little bit more reserved, but sometimes on social media, they take it to the next level and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to marry you. I'm going to come to your next show. I'm going to be the person I'm going to have a big sign. You're going to see me. Does that scare you a little bit?
It does, because that's the biggest change about social media. It's the access that people have. And so, now, they can speak directly to their audience, and they do it without a filter. And, it's powerful, but it can be risky too. So that's where PR comes in. So I come in and I help them use these platforms strategically. Did I say that right? Strategically.
Yeah, strategically. Yeah.
There we go. And all while protecting their brand, and then just creating authentic engagement. I don't like when people go into the DMs, like, why are we doing that? That's a personal thing. I don't want to know that. But my whole thing is professionalism, and keep it on the professional level, even with your clients, and in clients with their fans, because trust me, they are taping stuff. They tape things, they video. So I always tell them, you have to protect yourself. If you don't protect yourself, then I have to come in, and then it won't be pretty.
So being professional is protecting the talent and yourself in a way.
Oh, yeah. But protecting the talent is always first, because I can always handle myself and how to do stuff. And you can sense something, okay, this is going off the rail. And even before it's one question and I go, okay, I'm going to let it go. It's just me in my mind watching it. I said, all right. Then they did another question. I said, okay, all right, I'm going to let that one go. The third one, I was like, okay, right now we're going to end the interview. Okay. Boom. First of all, there's things that, especially if the client has had a crisis management before that, you owe them enough to talk about it, maybe one or two questions, but that's not going to be the whole interview. And when you see that it's going to be the whole interview, you stop it. And, I just, go back to, social media. That's where social media, it has a big change, because now, the press people contact them directly. So you really have to be very involved with your client to let your client know. It's always be engaging, but don't let them engage you enough that you're saying something and I not know about it and I have to read about it. I shouldn't have to read about anything you said or did, ever. I should get a phone call, and I don't care what time that phone call is, I need to get it. I remember there was one client that had a little situation with her now former husband, and I'm sitting here Christmas week, because, I was working at MCA Records, and, I don't know if you know anything about the record label. They shut down the last 2 weeks of the year up until the first of the year. So I'm sitting at home, probably doing absolutely nothing. And when I looked at the phone and I said, okay, this is not going to be a good phone call. So I answered it like, hey, how you doing? And when they said my name in the sentence, I said, this is not good. When people you like start talking and saying your name in the sentence, it's never good. They go, Monica, we have a problem. See, usually you just start talking and say, hey, hello. But when people start using your name in their sentence, it's never good. That's never good.
When you hear, I have to talk to you, it's like, oh no, what I do, or what's going on?
No, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to, don't ever use the words I have to, in personal or professional. Don't ever say I have to talk to you. Just say, hey, Monica, da-da-da-da. Start it. Just start the conversation. Okay. Don't ever say I have to talk to you. No, I don't want to talk to you, because you know why? Now you're giving me an option.
Oh, okay.
When you start giving me options, I take them. When you say, Monica, I have to talk to you, and don't ever say about what, and go, no, you don't, because if you had to talk to me, you would have picked up the phone and said, da-da-da-da-da, whatever it was. You don't preface it with, I have to talk to you. Those are the deadly words. I don't even know why they're in the vocabulary.
So,
I don't.
In your professional opinion, who out of the current list of out of current celebrities that you just kind of are following or interested in, who do you think has the best PR game out of anybody, I guess?
Oh, there's two people I can think of right now.
Okay.
Beyonce will always say, and not only that, because I know her publicist.
Okay.
Publicists are friends, and then obviously I've met Beyonce, more than once, and
That's amazing.
very sweet girl. She does. And the person I've never met, but I'm telling you, she has the best PR, and that would be Taylor Swift.
Woo! Love it. I love that you named our two queens of music. I love that.
If you think about, and let me tell you, and then an offshoot when it comes to influencers, who has the best PR? Kim Kardashian.
Okay. Okay.
She. You know what? Let me tell you something about Kim. We all know how she started off.
Yes.
So, and that's evident. But when I say her and her mother turn that around and look where the family is because of Kim and her mother alone. If anybody thinks any different, then you don't know anything about this industry, because they've changed it and they moved it. For the better words, people may not like Kim, but I respect her hustle. And I respect that she's done it legally and professionally. Mm-hmm. I like that. I love that. I don't know anything about her personally, but I like how she does business on the outside. I don't know inner, I don't know. And maybe I don't want to know that, but I do know on the outside, it's a hustle, and she got it, and she brought her entire family in on her hustle.
Yes.
So I don't, may not like him, but you got to respect the hustle. And I do.
She can work.
and in old school PR, Madonna. But it's Madonna, Prince, and Michael Jackson. Those three are like on the Mount Rushmore of PR. They know how to handle the press. Michael knew how to handle it. I don't care what people said about him. He knew how to handle the press, because even now, he's still an icon to many people. And then you have Madonna, and then you have Prince. No particular order. Equally just as good. But they handled it, and it's unfortunate that two of the three are no longer with us. But when Madonna does something, trust me, every news outlet talks about it. Do they not?
That is.
She's out of the press right now. But if she comes back, everybody's reporting about it. That's what I'm talking about. She understands it, and one of the things that she did that I truly love, and she talked about it too, when she was blackmailed for pictures. They said they were going to go to the Inquirer. You know what she did? Oh, no, you're not going to blackmail me. What we're going to do, we're going to create a book and make millions. Love that. She said, oh, no, you're not going to get me. So she got pictures out myself. Mm-hmm. And book that was a multi-million-dollar, book deal. I'm like, that's great PR. She's thinking ahead. Mm-hmm. She's a flack herself. And, we hate that term. She's a flack herself. Yep. I love it.
I would like to know how many people still have that book secretly, still have that book somewhere in their house. I bet they do.
Because she talked about it. She was doing, back in the day when she was doing, helping the photographer out, she would do nude shots for him. Mm-hmm. No big deal. Nobody thought they would go anywhere. But then you came out when she became Madonna,
right.
Holiday, borderline, that Madonna.
Yes.
You think you're going to come and tell her, like, if you don't give me all this money, extort money from her, I'm going to print the photos? I don't know. I get one step ahead of you. I do it myself.
Yep.
You gotta love that. Gotta love that.
That is respect for her. For owning her narrative. She owned the narrative the whole way through.
That's what I said. You have to control it. Control it, and own it. You say it first. You tell it all. Wait, you tell it first. You tell it all, and you tell it last. That's my motto. You have to do that, because people will get you.
When Prince was like, you have my name, I'm going to change it. No,
I'm not even going to change my name. I'm going to be a symbol.
Yeah.
And everything he made under that symbol was his. And when he was finished with Warner Brothers, he went back to his name.
He did. Mm-hmm. He did.
You have to do that. And just like, who else did that? Eminem. No, he got it from Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. He said, oh, really? I'm going to buy your masters. Boop. That's what Michael did. And Eminem did the same thing. Yeah. He goes, I'm going to buy you're going to talk about me in a song? I'm going to buy your masters. So every time you do that song, I'm going to get paid. You have to love people who own and control everything around them. So you have to be smart. Because I was told this is a business. People go, music business. It's a business first. It has nothing to do with music. It's a business. I remember one of my former clients, Don Cornelius, he said when I was doing Soul Train Awards, he said, "This is not a music show. This is a TV show." I'm like, okay. Meaning it's a business and music is coming along. He said, because everything he got was based on business and relationships. I'm like, okay, Mr. Cornelius. that's what you do. It's a business. And once you realize it's a business, you will go far in this business.
Yes.
And not take things personal. I don't take things personal at all. I mean, I do get disappointed because we all do, because we have the emotions, but I just go, oh, okay, let's move on.
Have you always
because if
been
you wallow in it, you're done.
Have you always been like that, Monica? Or did it take a while?
Oh, no. You have to, because you come in this business with a naivety, like you want to be friends. I don't want to be your friend. I'm an employee of yours. You have to learn you're an employee. And I think that's where a lot of publicists make the mistake of thinking that their clients are their friends in the beginning. They're not your friends. You work for them. They are paying you. You are an employee. And once you get that, you set that groundwork first, friendship comes later. But you can't start being their friends. You have to set the groundwork like, I work for you. You pay me to do this, and that's what I do. And then a comfortability comes in and a friendship comes in. And that's how it happens. Because there's a lot of publicists who get their feelings hurt when they get that call or that letter stating that, your service is no longer needed. I said, if you do your job correctly, trust me, every publicist gets fired. Excuse me. Every publicist loses a client. That's what we like to see. We don't like to say fired. Every publicist loses a client. And that happens. You have to learn that it's not personal. You take it on the chin and you move on, because you have to like wallow for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then you have to keep going, because if you wallow too long, you're going to stay in that depressed state. And you have to go, okay, let me go. I got to get another client. And that spurs you to get another client. And that's how you have to work.
Okay. Well, you were talking about business. Can you tell us a little bit how you now you rule your own business? Can you tell us how did that happen?
It happened. It was when I was working at NTA Records. The company was going through a merger, and so we all know when there's mergers, people get let go because jobs are dispensable. So that's what happened when my contract wasn't up for like another year. So what happened was my contract wasn't renewed, but they ended up paying me for a full year because I still had contract. And so I still got benefits, everything. And so I got in the car and I called my mom. I said, Mom, they let me go today. She goes, oh, my mother, no big deal. She said, no big deal. What we're going to do is you're going to start your own business. I go, Mom, that was eventually my goal. But when people thrust you into stuff real quick, you learn real quick. And at that point, I had been in the business like almost at that point, maybe 15 years. So I was going to do like everybody else. I was going to go, let me, take my money. And, I got severance. And then I got the fact that I got paid for another year. So I was financially set for like a good 3 years. And so, yeah, it was really good. So anyway, my mother said, oh, no. She said, what we're going to do, my mother said, we're going to do.
Are you speaking French?
Yeah, you're going to start your own, you're going to start your own company, your own business. I said, well, how am I going to do that? We literally, the next day, we went to Best Buy. We bought a computer and we bought a fax machine. Tell you how long ago it was. And we bought a fax machine. Yeah. So I'm making myself.
So I still use fax machine.
But you know what? And matter of fact, you should, because you don't want things on the, So, and trust me, if companies still, the White House has a fax machine. Yep. Because there's certain things you do not want.
Correct.
On the web or on the cloud. On the cloud. We see what happens. We see what happens when they don't understand that. You're on Signal. Anyway, another subject. So anyway, that's what we did. So I literally started my own company because MCA was going through a merger and my job was eliminated. So I started, just right now I'm a consultant. I either work for you or I get my own clients. And that's how I've been doing it. I remember when COVID happened, everybody had to work at home and they didn't know how to deal with that. How am I going to work at home? For the last 10 years, you like it. But you have to set a pattern. You have to get up like you're going to work. You can't sit in your pajamas all day. You have to get up and you have to set a part of your house that's your office. You can't be in your bed all day. No, you need to be at a table. You need to set up. You need to develop, even if it's in your dining room. At some point, you need to set it up as your office. You have to be at your desk. You have to get up. You have to get dressed. You have to do everything like you're going to work. You have to have a lunch break. You have to have 2 breaks. You have to be focused. And that's all. And my mom told me that. So you have to get up and you have to get dressed. You have to do this. You have to take a break. You have to do that. Yep. And then I usually stop, depending on what's going on, I usually stop work like around 6 or 7 because I usually take a 2-hour lunch break. And so the first break, I'm like, the first break, I'm like, eating or doing whatever. And then the second one, I'm like, oh, God, I want to do this. I run errands. I run personal errands. It all depends, but you have to set it up like that. And that's what you do when you're at work anyway.
Exactly.
You run errands on your lunch break because you don't want to do it after work. And that's when I learned how to do it. So when COVID happened, that opened up people's eyes. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I can work at home. Now you have people who don't want to go back to work. Yep. They don't want to go back to an office. Yep. What is it? It's hybrid. And many companies tell you, oh, this is a hybrid. You have to come in 2 days a week. I love it. I laugh. I scoff at the people. I don't know. I don't want to work at home. I'm like, oh, wow. And now you can't get people to get back. You have to threaten to fire people to get them back in the office.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know a ton of people.
They have set up and they are happy at home and they realize you can do your time. Time management has to be a priority. You have to learn how to manage your time. And that's one thing as a publicist, you have to learn how to manage your time and you cannot take more clients than you can serve because they know. They know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, they know. Because half the time they've looked you up. Because now, like we have social media, you can go on people's find. And that's why I'm not really keen on, like, people like to, showcase, I'm working on this client, you don't want to tell everybody who you're working with. It all depends on, if I'm working with an up-and-coming person, I'm letting people know because I want people to know. But if I'm working with an A or B client, I'm not telling anybody. You know when you see me at the red carpet with that person. And that's what we do. When we're at the carpet with somebody said, hey, girl, who you here with? I don't know who her client is. Because we can be besties, but she's not telling me who her client is, and I'm not insulted because that's what we do. You don't know who somebody's working with, and literally until you see them walking down the carpet, and I go, oh, when they get that client, and now you can talk about it.
So, okay, so you
nobody, it takes. Like I said, I've been in this business a long time, so it takes a lot for me to get jealous or be upset. I'm like, this is my thing. If they can do it, I can do it. That's how I turn it around. I don't do the whole jealousy thing or. Competition is what we're all about, and I have no problem with that. But you see me get jealous of somebody else? No, I look at them and go, what did you do? How did you get that client? Who'd you talk to? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. I'm not being all sitting in the corner or sitting at the end of the red carpet upset. I'm asking questions. I'm finding out who's who. I'm looking who's with the client. That's when you're at the red carpet. You're there. I always call it casing the joint. So you can see what's going on, see what press is there. But you're also watching who's with who's doing what, who's management and who's who. So you want to introduce yourself to management because they can give you clients.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
I love that phrase. It's
that is
what casing the joint.
Casing the joint. I like that.
When it comes to red carpet, I'm so old school. If the red carpet starts at 12 o'clock, I'm there at 9 because number one, I need to find a parking spot. So they never give you a parking spot.
Oh my God.
And they start closing the road. I don't know if you know, they start closing the road, I mean, really easy. So what I do, I get there early. I'm relaxed. I'm cool. I have my phone, my charger. I have a big purse in case I have to change my shoes. Oh, I'm prepared.
You are prepared.
And then I'm going down to see the press line because, they're on name. I'm like, who's here? And then what I always do, like I said, I'm old school. I print out who my client is. Okay. Denzel Washington and then the movie he's in. Boom. And I go get it laminated because when you're there, you don't want the wrinkle. So I go and I laminate it and I'm like, here we go. Because first of all, you don't want to always have to, yell. So you just go and they take a picture of it. This is what I'm representing. Here. And it's laminated.
That's such a good idea.
Like I said, little tricks of the trade that these newbies have no idea. They're sitting there holding it, yelling, and no, I'm not. Yell for what? I got it right here. Look. And they go, thank you. I'm like, no problem. I'm here to make it easy for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love
Makes it
that.
easy.
I love that. So on
They don't even do.
So you just mentioned the red carpets. Now, do you and your clients sit down and decide who they're going to take, whether it's going to be you, their mom, their girlfriend,
No.
their best
No,
friend?
first of all, I'm always there. I'm always part
Okay,
of the
you're always
equation.
there
Matter
no
of fact,
matter what.
trust me, I don't care who it is. Most artists or clients do not step on that carpet until they see the publicist. They're not getting out of the car.
Okay.
They're not. Matter of fact, when I can name names because Chris Tucker is one of those. He didn't get out the car until he saw me. He's like on the phone with me. Monica, we're like a mile out. He would give me updates, and he's on the phone. He goes, "What are you wearing?" I said, and he would ask me the day before. He goes, "What are you wearing?" And it wasn't like, he goes, "What are you wearing?" So
Yeah,
I can,
so he can find you.
yeah, and basically, yeah. And so anyway, and then once when they're getting close, I said, "Well, where are you?" And then I'm in the limo line. I said, and he had one of his security was a police officer. He would put his arm out like, "Here we are." I said, "How close are you?" I'm sitting right there when they get out the car, and then you get out the car. Lionel Richie was the same way. That's old school. They don't want to get out and not know where they're going. I get out and said, "This is what we're going to do." Boom, boom, boom. That's why you get there early. So I've already prepped. I said, "Listen, I have Lionel Richie. Do you want to talk to him?" Because I'm not walking to a press person and my client's behind me and they say, "Do you want to talk?" And they say, "No, we're not doing that." So we get there early. We talk to all the press. I said, "This is who I have. This is who it is," especially when it's a newbie. And I always tell newbies to come. If the press line starts at 12, you get there at 12. Because whoever's in a movie, they're going to get there because the press line usually it shuts down maybe at the same time that the doors close. So if the movie starts at 5, trust me, the press line is going to go till 5. Okay. And the newbies, if Jennifer Lopez is in the movie, she's going to get there at 5:01.
Yes.
That's what they do. So you have your new person, your newbie, has to get there early so they can talk to all the press, and all the press wants to talk to them because they got time. They waiting for people to come. Your person come, they talk to them anyway, and they use it. It's B-roll, and they can use it part of it. They don't have to get them talking, but when they're doing their cuts, they can show your client. So that's what you want. And so I would get there early. I'm gonna say, "This is my client. This is who I have. Do you want to talk to them?" And they go, "Yes." And I'm writing down because you always have to have a little pad, a little bitty one, and you write down who your clients want to talk to, and you kind of remember. Then you take them to each person. So you walk down there and you go, "Okay, we're going over here." Okay. And they can tell that you know what you're doing, and they love that because it gets hectic real quick, real fast. So you have to know what's going on immediately. So that's why I get there when I'm calm and I'm cool. I'm eating. I've eaten, I'm on the phone, and once 12 o'clock comes, I said, "I gotta go." And I tell my family, don't nobody call me for 4 hours. And they know that. So they text me. So they'll text me.
Speaking of events, you have worked at events of like Grammys, Soul Train. What's been the funnest event, red carpet, that you've done?
All of them. All of them bring something different. I love the Grammys and Soul Train because I love music. So I'm there. I'm like a fan. I'm like there, and I'm working at the same time. And so I just love being there because I love music and seeing the people that I like. It's a real thrill for me. And then when it comes to non-music, sometimes actors can be a little bit stiff and stifled because, trust me, when there's not a script in front of them, some of them don't know what to say. Oh. So it's a little different with them. But music people, they are never at a loss for words. And then, and then athletes are something else too. They want to be entertainers. Don't be fooled. They want to be entertainers. That's why, so when you have an athlete.
I've kind of realized that over the years. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they don't, if you think about it, who do athletes marry? Who do they marry?
They marry actresses. They marry musicians who are entertainers on a daily basis. Like,
yep. It's a world that they don't even know. Case in point, look, who is Taylor Swift marrying?
Mr. Travis Kelce.
Nobody out of sports was checking for what's his name?
Travis Kelce.
Not that he's a bad person, but his element was sports.
Yes.
And every sports person knew him. When he started dating Taylor, it was a different world for him.
Yes.
And it's a world that he didn't, and trust me, he thought he knew, but he didn't know. He didn't know what it was being in a world with Taylor Swift or being with somebody like, on her level. And it's not a bad thing. It just, it's just something that happens. So and athletes always tickle me too. And they're like kids too. They love all of this. They go, ooh, can I go? And they want to go to movie premieres. They like all that. So, which is good. Which is good for you because I like, my two things are sports and entertainment. So
I love that.
It's fun.
If there was any celebrity or sports, who would it be? I'm just wondering who you would love to work with.
Well, you know what? Two things. Number one, since I'm a sports fanatic, it would be any athlete. I've met many of them, but the one that I love working with was Shaquille O'Neal. He is one of the best clients you could ever have. He is literally, and this his whole personality. When people say that he's the nicest person in the business, is not a joke. He's nice, he's warm, he's engaging, he's very mannerable, he listens, and he never forgets who you are. Because I had him back in the day when he had an album, and he was the best thing ever. And he listened to me. He said he goes, "What are we doing?" And I would say, "This is what we're doing." But so he was one of the nicest people. I would have to say Beyonce because she's nice too, but her publicist, I don't want to ruin it because I know they're publicists. So a lot of these people, I know they're publicists.
Of course, yes.
For me, it's like, oh, I want to work with them. No, I like them and it's engaging, but I don't, but I think Shaq and Chris Tucker. I love working with comedians. I work with Chris Tucker and Tony Rock. They literally kept me in stitches the entire time. I mean, I had to tell them, like, stop, we're laughing. We're on TV. Like, stop, we're laughing. I mean, we're like laughing, like, stomach hurt laughing because they're talking about you, me, and everybody there. And I'm like, okay, I'm not turning around. And they're so engaging, especially Tony Ross. He is like super fun. That's Chris Rock's younger brother. And I go, I'm not turning around. He would tell me, I'm not turning around. You know how when people talk, I go, I'm not turning around. I like those two. First of all, they did everything they're supposed to, and they always paid on time.
That is important. That is important.
It pays on time. I love it. Matter of fact, and they give good gifts when it's come for Christmas or holidays. Mm-hmm. And I would have to say, Chris Rock gave the best gifts ever. Ever. I worked with him for 3 years, and do you guys remember Sharper Image? You remember that? Mm-hmm. Sharper Image. Okay, you do. Sharper Image was a magazine that is literally high and expensive gadgets.
Yes,
but
yes.
Everybody needed, but nobody would buy because they were too expensive. Yes. He would always buy me something from Sharper Image, and I loved it.
I've never heard of that. Is that still around?
I think so, but Google it. Just go Sharper Image magazine.
I'm going to.
Yeah, it doesn't. See, like I said, I'm always aging myself.
We had a Sharper Image at our mall. We had a Sharper Image at our mall. And I always like to go in there because there was telescopes. There was a giant massage, like, recliner thing. And I'm like, that's the goal. It was basically stuff you don't need, but you go, ooh, and it's so out of your price range. Okay. Yes. But with that said, Chris would give me the best gifts ever. I had him for 3 years before I left Rogers & Cowan. I left Rogers & Cowan handling him. That's when I went to MCA Records. Okay.
So that's why I didn't handle him anymore because I left to go to MCA Records. But he gave the best gifts.
You heard it here first, everybody. Chris Tucker gives the best gifts ever. The
best gifts, and he is super. He's another man. He's a Southern young man. He was nice. He was polite. He listened to me, and he always says, "Monica, why we're doing this? Why are we doing this, Monica?" And he would always say that, "Monica, why are we doing?" I said, "This is why we're doing it." I say the same thing about Casey and JoJo of Jodeci. Casey and JoJo were the same way. Goes, Monica, why are we doing this? And I like clients that ask me why we're doing this because they really did not know. And once you explain to them, because we need to do this, to do that, like I said, they were with you. So I love clients that listen and respect you. And the men that I just said, they literally respect you. And I love that.
I love that you love the questions and you take the time to answer that. Some people I've worked with don't like doing that, and I respect you for that. Like, you can tell that you have patience and you're willing to explain it to your clients. Yeah,
it's funny. I don't have patience in my private life, but professional, I have all day. I have all day. But I think maybe that's why I don't do it in my private life, because I do it so much in my professional life. Yeah. I'm a bottom line person. I listen, up to a point. I'm listening, and I go, how can we solve it? You've told me the problem. How can we solve it? What can we do? That's all I want to know. You tell me, you tell me how we got there. That's all well and good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then you go, how can we solve it? And I look at you straight face. How can we solve it?
Yeah. Straight to the point.
And that's what we really want to do, because you telling me the milk is spilled. All right, well, let's get some towels and cleaned up. Let's hurry up.
Yeah, there you go. Straightforward to the point. I love it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this kind of off the wall question. If you weren't in PR, what do you think you would be doing right now? Because I cannot picture you stuck behind a boring desk job.
No, I can tell you right now, I'll be an attorney. But at this point, it would most likely be an entertainment attorney, because when I wanted to be an entertainer, I wanted to be a probate attorney, and I'm pretty sure you guys all know what a probate attorney is. Mm-hmm. And then as I started getting more and more into entertainment and working in business affairs, being an entertainment attorney would be like in sports and entertainment.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and my clients would be athletes and, VIP celebrities. But now, and a lot of these corporate people want publicists.
Yes.
Corporate executives, they want publicists. Like you have, what's his name? He literally just got married to Lauren Sanchez.
Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Everybody wants a publicist. Everybody's a corporate executive, and they want to expand and increase their brand. And so that's what I would definitely be a corporate attorney. An entertainment attorney, hands down. Or number 2, a trial attorney, being in front of a judge explaining why my client is innocent.
Oh, you'd be so
and that's an actor. And people don't understand. Those trial attorneys are actors. And people don't understand that, because when you get up there and you explain to your person, you want to look your best and try your best. That's why being a publicist is more of how you present yourself and how you look. So you have to look your best, and that sometimes you get hired just based on how you look.
Yeah.
And so that's what you have to do. You have to, and I say, look your best. I'm not saying look your best like somebody's best. I mean, your best. Whatever your best is, that's what you look like. And so that's what I do.
I like it. I like that a lot. That's a great answer. Okay, we're going to do a quick little lightning round with you. You're just going to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Not good.
A red carpet fashion disaster you'll never forget, Monica.
Oh my gosh.
That earlier.
For me or somebody else?
Somebody else.
I can't remember somebody. Let me think. I know for me, when I first started and I wore heels on the carpet, not knowing that I was going to be there all day.
Okay.
I was like, this not pretty. I was like, ugh.
You did mention that you bring a big bag and you have extra pair of shoes in there.
Yeah. But wait a minute. I can tell you one.
Okay.
Do you guys remember the Jennifer Lopez dress?
Yeah, the deep front V.
Let me tell you something about the dress. I did arrivals. My thing was arrivals. And like I said, she always liked to come late. But she was the first, it was at the Grammys, but she was the first award. And so anyway, we're waiting for Jennifer Lopez because she's the first award and it's a live show. So anyway, I'm sitting there and, I'm sitting there at the top, and she got out, and I'm like, when she got out, she went out leg first. I saw more than Jennifer Lopez that I ever want to see in my entire life. And I was like, Jennifer's here. And when she came down the aisle, I'm like, she has nothing on. This is what I say to I have 2 running buddies that, my brother and my best friend, 2 guys. I'm like, I need you guys at the carpet right now. And we got to the point, like, they never asked any questions. When I say I need you somewhere, they came running. And I said, you need to get Jennifer to the room, because at this point, people want to talk to her and take pictures. I'm like, she got to go. And that's when she was dating Sean Combs, too. So it was even more of a, it wasn't a disaster, but it was the dress.
It was a shock for, at the time, because that's when I felt like fashion was taking a turn and showing more skin on every celebrity.
She's the very first one that I saw wore that, and then she had boy boxer shorts on, which was smart for her.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'm glad she didn't have on thongs. I think that would have been tacky for the dress, but the boy boxer shorts was the best thing for that dress. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, and she got out, she goes, hi,
hey, I can, you're like, I don't want to look.
And she got out with me holding, she put her hand out so I can basically help her get out the car. And I'm like, okay, Jennifer, let's go do this. Let's wrap this up. It was funny. Yeah, it was funny.
That's a great story. Anyway. That's a really good story.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So I think you might have answered this already, but I'm going to ask it anyway. The first celebrity who ever left you starstruck.
Oh, well, Denzel Washington. Denzel.
What is your favorite city to work in?
Oh, it has to be Los Angeles. You know, I'm born and raised here, so I feel comfortable here. Los
Okay.
Angeles. I've done a couple of things in Atlanta and New York, but this is my home because, first of all, the weather alone. And when I was in both of those cities, it was cold. No, Atlanta was cold. No, New York was cold, and Atlanta was just, it was stifling. Like when I used to do the Essence Fest, that's in New Orleans, and when I say I have never ever been in that humidity in my entire life.
Yes.
I
the
don't know if
humidity.
you guys have ever been there,
Yeah.
but the humidity is stifling.
It is.
Oh my God. I mean, you walk around like this. Like, you see what I'm doing? Because you're sweating so much.
You're
And
sweating.
you take 3 showers a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You take 3 showers a day, and I'm not kidding. You take it not because you, like, it's time to, you take it just to refresh.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I love Los Angeles.
I live in Oklahoma, and we have a humidity issue here. Not like
you
New
know.
Orleans or Atlanta, but we're close.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
it's to the point
I'm
where it feels
telling
like
you.
you can't breathe because you
You
go
can,
outside
and
and you're like,
then if you don't have anything, or if you are not wearing cotton, I know you're not from that place.
exactly.
And one of the things, everything has to be. If you wear silk, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Aren't you from here? But
everything.
one thing
you're gonna see everything. You're gonna see all the sweat and silk.
yeah, and it sticks to you. You can't even get it off.
No.
But
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah, makes sense. LA weather. I can get behind that always.
yeah, and when it is humidity, we're like upset. Where's the humidity come from? We're upset. What's happening? Why is it raining? That's a lie. We're not happy. If it's not sunny, 75% of the time, we're not happy. I know I'm not. I'm not.
Okay, so what is a song that always gets you hyped before a big event?
Oh, there was a song, I can't remember his name, but it was called Word Up, and it was by the lead singer of Cameo. Look it up. It was the lead singer of Cameo.
Okay.
And it was Word Up, and that's when we had video, and the video was like something. But when I hear that song, I'm like, I love that song. And anything by Prince, like Party in 1999. That's
Oh, yes.
okay. Let's go. Let's do this. You kind of like shake yourself up. And let me tell you something. You kind of pray before you go to any award show. You go, please let this go okay.
Mhm.
Please don't let anything happen. You do, because when you're on the red carpet, it's live, so anything can happen. So you're praying, like, please let this go okay.
Yeah.
Please don't let my client get mad at me. Please let my client not lose their tickets. It's just, that's why you carry a big bag, because if you give the tickets to management, trust me, by the time you get to where you need to be inside, they don't have them. So what I do is I pick up everything. I pick up the credential. I pick up everything, because if they have them, it gets lost. But I put them in my big bag and I go, let's go. So whenever I see a publicist, whenever I see a publicist not with a bag, I'm like, so you're not working? You're not working?
Do you put snacks in there for them too? If they're like, Monica, I'm starving, I need something.
I do.
Okay.
I mean, the snacks are for me, because I'm a snack person. So I live and breathe off of snacks. And then, the little water things that you can get when you go to a picnic, some of the little ones, I put like 2 in there. Yeah. And then I steal them from the green room. Oh, I'm constantly stealing from the green room. They know it. That's what publicists do.
Exactly.
We go in the green
That's
room
why
and we
it's there.
and we
It's gotta
steal
be
food.
used.
Because half the time, some publicists are not smart enough to eat before they have. What I don't do, I try not to drink as much, because trust me, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. And you have to remember, from the time you start the carpet until you get to the end of it, it could easily be an hour, sometimes 2,
And there's
depending
no
on the event.
bathroom on the carpet. There's nowhere to go.
Nope. So what I do beforehand, I go, even if I don't have to go, it's like going to the movies. I don't have to go, but I'm going to go right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that. And then I try to, budget when to stop drinking, so when they have to go to the bathroom, because you know yourself. Everybody knows themselves. They go, if they drink now, trust me, in 15, 20 minutes, they're going to have to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no, I try to do everything before 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Or, because that's when most carpets start, because we're in the West Coast. So if it's 12 o'clock here, it's 3 elsewhere. So, we're at a disadvantage on the West Coast, as you know. So I always try to do everything beforehand, and then if you have to go, it's not a good thing. Fortunately, like I said, I've been in this business over 25 years, and I've never had to use the bathroom on the carpet. I've always gone beforehand, and I've always not eaten. Because people don't understand, it's not what you eat, it's not what you drink, it's eating food too. Because remember, that turns a liquid too.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be, you have to know.
So Monica, you answered this question throughout your interview today. But what is the one piece of advice that you would give someone trying to pursue a career in PR?
Oh, I would say build authentic, real relationships. And then, like I said, just never stop underestimating credibility, because people will see that in a heartbeat, because PR opens the doors for other things in this business. So a lot of publicists, they go on to do behind the scenes things. Like me, I have created another company with a business partner. I've created a company. It's called Royal Wiz Entertainment, and we create and get for projects to be sold. So we just started that maybe a year ago. So it's an uphill battle, but that's our whole thing, is to build our company up. But with that being said, that's one of the things. You have to build credibility so people want to work with you. Like I said, journalists, producers, talent executives, they go, no, I don't want to deal with that publicist. And they say that. That. So I don't ever want to be the publicist they don't deal with. So you have to, like I said, when it comes to time, you have to respect the time, that when you get somebody on the phone, don't, unless you have a personal relationship with them, and and their family or something like that, that's fine. But if you don't know them, just stick to the point.
Okay.
Stick to the point, because, and then understand that, our world is changing, and be able to change with it. That's why when we talked about social media, like in the very beginning, I wasn't into it. But once I learned it, that's the only thing I ever wanted to do. And lastly is your reputation is everything in this business. If you are known as a publicist that steals clients, trust me, nobody wants to be your friend on a personal level. So you have to protect your reputation.
That is
Wise words. Very wise words.
So wise.
Monica.
I know one thing, one last thing, and I totally respect this man, is one thing what Bill Gates said, and I wrote it down. He said if he was down to his last dollar, he'll spend it on PR. I've been a fan ever since. That's what he said. He said, if I was down to my last dollar, I would spend it on, I would spend it on public relations. And as one of the things, as a publicist, I always never forget that I can't accomplish anything that I do without caring about people. And then I don't care who gets the credit. As long as a client's happy, that's what we will. But I'm not saying that you take my ideas and run with it. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I'm working with you, and I don't care who gets credit, because I don't care who's stirring the pot, as long as it's being stirred in this business.
I love that. you have the best liners.
Yeah. Stuff I remember that I've been taught, and you have to reinvent the wheel and make it your will. Because trust me, everybody in this business is doing the same thing. Everybody's doing the same thing, but what they're doing that's different is their will is being turned differently. Because the will is still there, but when everybody's going left, go right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. Monica, you are an absolute dream. You're incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, this has been I've learned so much, and I thank you for taking the time to speak with us and let us pick your brain in the world of PR. You're amazing.
Thank you. I enjoyed being with you guys, and thank you very much for asking me to be a part of this. I truly enjoyed it, and like I said, keep doing what you're doing, because you two are great. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Monica. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Monica, before you head out, where can people find you on social media? I know you are on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. There is PR underscore Mogal, and that's PR underscore MOGAL, and then Facebook and TikTok, as well as LinkedIn. I'm under my name, Monica Alexander. If you put in Monica Alexander, I will definitely come up.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Monica. Oh my gosh, we love you so much. You're amazing.
Okay, thank you.
This episode of Call Me Obsessed podcast was produced, written, and edited by Amanda and Aaron.